is January 18th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Bill's story. We'll be reading page 8. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 2. We'll read page 31. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours. Clean slate. All the mistakes from yesterday, all the things that went on yesterday, they're over now. We can reset, to right our wrongs, and to live another day sober. That's always an exciting thing. What an opportunity. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, if you recall from yesterday's reading in the Big Book, Bill is struggling. He is drinking basically for oblivion at this point. He still thinks, oh, okay, well, now that I have self-knowledge, I can stay sober. But even then, he returns to drinking after a few months. And one of the last lines we read yesterday was, I who thought so well of myself and my abilities, of my capacity to surmount obstacles, was cornered at last. So let's read the rest of page 8. No words can tell of the loneliness and despair that I found in that bitter morass of self-pity. Quicksand stretched around me in all directions. I had met my match. I had been overwhelmed. Alcohol was my master. Trembling, I stepped from the hospital a broken man. Fear sobered me for a bit. Then came the insidious insanity of that first drink. And on our Armistice Day, 1934, I was off again. Everyone became resigned to the certainty that I would have to be shut up somewhere, or would stumble along to a miserable end. How dark it is before the dawn. In reality, that was the beginning of my last debauch. I was soon to be catapulted into what I like to call the fourth dimension of existence. I was to know happiness, peace, and usefulness in a way that is incredibly more wonderful as time passes. Near the end of that bleak November, I sat drinking in my kitchen. With a certain satisfaction, I reflected that there was enough gin concealed about the house to carry me through that night and the next day. My wife was at work. I wondered whether I dared hide a full bottle of gin near the head of our bed. I'd need it before daylight. My musing was interrupted by the telephone. The cheery voice of an old school friend asked if he might come over. He was sober. It was years since I could remember his coming to New York in that condition. I was amazed. Rumor had it that he had been committed for alcohol insanity. I wonder how he had escaped. Of course, he would have dinner and then I could drink openly with him. Unmindful of his welfare, I thought only of recapturing the spirit of other days. There was that time we had chartered an airplane to complete a jag. His coming was an oasis in this dreary desert of futility. The very thing, an oasis. Drinkers are like that. Out of the 12 and 12 run, step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Page 31. As psychiatrists have often observed, defiance is the outstanding characteristic of many an alcoholic. So it's not strange that lots of us have had our day at defying God himself. Sometimes it's because God has not delivered us the goods of life, which we specified, as a greedy child makes an impossible list for Santa Claus. More often, though, we have met up with some major calamity, and to our way of thinking, lost out because God deserted us. The girl we wanted to marry had other notions. We prayed God that she'd change her mind, but she didn't. We prayed for healthy children and we were presented with sick ones, or none at all. We prayed for promotions at business, and none came. Loved ones upon whom we heartily depended were taken from us by so-called acts of God. Then we became drunkards and asked God to stop that. But nothing happened. This was the unkindest cut of all. Damn this faith business, we said. When we encountered AA, the fallacy of our defiance was revealed. At no time had we asked what God's will was for us. Instead, we had been telling him what it ought to be. No man we saw could believe in God and defy him, too. Belief meant reliance, not defiance. In AA, we saw the fruits of this belief. Men and women spared from alcohol's final catastrophe. We saw them meet and transcend their other pains and trials. We saw them calmly accept impossible situations, seeking neither to run nor to recriminate. This was not only faith, it was faith that worked under all conditions. We soon concluded that whatever price in humility we must pay, we would pay. "24 hours a day, January 18th. AA thought for the day. The new life can't be built in a day. We have to take the program slowly, a little at a time. Our subconscious minds have to be re-educated. We have to learn to think differently. We have to get used to sober thinking instead of alcoholic thinking. Anyone who tries it knows that the old alcoholic thinking is apt to come back on us when we least expect it. Building a new life is a slow process, but it can be done if we really follow the AA program. Am I building a new life on the foundation of sobriety? Meditation for the day. I will pray daily for faith, for it is God's gift. On faith alone depends the answer to my prayers. God gives it to me in response to my prayers because it is a necessary weapon for me to possess for the overcoming of all adverse conditions and the accomplishment of all good in my life. Therefore, I will work at strengthening my faith. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may so think and live as to feed my faith in God. I pray that my faith may grow, because with faith, God's power becomes available to me. Daily Reflection, January 18th. Would a drink help? By going back in our own drinking histories, we could show that years before we realized it, we were out of control, that our drinking even then was no mere habit, that it was indeed the beginning of a fatal progression. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 23. When I was still drinking, I couldn't respond to any of life's situations the way other, more healthy people could. The smallest incident triggered a state of mind that believed that I had to drink to numb my feelings. But the numbing did not improve the situation, so I sought further escape in the bottle. Today I must be aware of my alcoholism. I cannot afford to believe that I gained control of my drinking, or again I will think that I've gained control of my life. Such a feeling of control is fatal to my recovery. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading, and man, some great stuff as always. I absolutely love what Bill says, how dark it is before the dawn. He admits, man, I'm licked. I can't beat this thing. And yet he continues to drink. Then all of a sudden he gets a telephone call from an old buddy, Ebby Thatcher. That interaction that we're about to read tomorrow leaves a huge impact on Bill, because he sees his old drinking buddy who's now sober. And I know Joe and Charlie, they say that, Ebby Thatcher's drinking was so bad that, a lot of times Bill will be like, "Whoo, if I ever get like him, please, please let me know." But that just proves to me that in my own experience, my higher power oftentimes works through other people too. It's not just in the big book or the big book that I read or things like that, or in his creation, but sometimes it's in the people around me that'll say a certain thing that, wow, I may have heard before, but the way they phrased it was in a way that just really hit me, the way nothing else ever has. I think about some of the people that I met when I first walked in the rooms, and the way they explained things in a way that I understood. This is Robology, but that was my higher power working through them. And I pray that my higher power can work through me to help others, to pay it forward and to be of service. And to realize, kind of as the daily reflection, to realize that I'm not in control, but I do know the one who is. And I want to spend the rest of this day thanking him for the life he's given me. As I've said many times, one of the biggest depression killers for me has always been gratitude. That's a skill that I've practiced in this program, and I continue to practice, because I can get in that funk sometimes. And I can still, as a matter of fact, I woke up this morning. I didn't sleep super well last night, and I had all these intrusive thoughts about the mistakes I made yesterday on the job and all these things, and the way I didn't handle certain things. And I woke up kind of feeling a little anxious and a little off. So I got up, got my cup of coffee. I walked into the cold garage here, got on my knees at my love seat where I used to drink, and I prayed the third step prayer. And I thanked my higher power for the life he's given me and the people around me. And I even prayed for people that I've had resentments for. And I'm saying that in past tense because slowly but surely, it's been very gradual, that anger that's in my heart for that person has subsided. That's just a miracle of the God of my understanding working in my life. Just another example of that. So throughout the day today, my homework is just to continue to thank my higher power. And I love what one of my friends says. He says, gratitude without action is just a pleasant emotion. How can I show and express my gratitude today? How can I be a doer of the word today? Well, I'm excited to find out. So that, my friends, please know I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I'm just a friend in this lifeboat of recovery, and I am honored to be here and so grateful you're here with me. Thank you so much for the emails I've received, the comments on the daily episodes. You have no idea how much that I appreciate that and look forward to seeing those. And if you ever want to share your higher power story, your experience, strength, and hope, please email in. I'd love to read your email on the podcast. If just make sure that you specify that it's okay to read to the public, and I'd be happy to do that and keep your anonymity intact. I'd love to share your story. Here's a platform to do it. bigbookdaily@gmail.com. And just know that if you're sober today, my friend, you're a miracle. And I'm sure that those who love you are very proud of you. And if you're not sober and somehow you stumbled across this podcast, I want you to know that you're a miracle as well. And that you have worth and value and you are worthy. And I hope you understand that. You're worthy of recovery. So why not take that first step today? The very first word in the steps, as I've said just about every episode, is we. You're not alone. I hope you know that. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling, guys. I hope you have a great one. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.